Today I'm going to show you how to make a round wood frame. I painted this in a circle, obviously, and decided to make a wood frame for it. I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to make, but it's super affordable and I love the way it turned out, and in my opinion, it was totally worth the work. If you found this video helpful and you like to do stuff yourself and save money, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next DIY project. My art piece is 24 inches wide and I'm using one 8-foot 2x6 to make the frame. If your piece is any larger than this or you want a wider frame, you'll have to get wider lumber. I cut all the pieces the exact same length using my miter saw. I wanted the seams on my frame to look natural, so I arranged my wood so that the seams went in a sweeping circular motion as opposed to them all being parallel and sticking straight out. You can also cut your wood to form a hexagon or an octagon to make your frame and get less waste, but I wanted to keep it simple and avoid cutting and clamping those weird angles. I used wood glue on both sides of each seam and then clamped it and let it dry. I'm going to reinforce these seams later with biscuits. So I glued this up this morning and let it dry throughout the day, and now I am going to unclamp it and router it. So before we actually router our circle frame, there's a couple quick things we need to do. First thing is just put some stopper blocks on all of the sides of the frame that I'm just gonna screw down so that the frame isn't shifting while I'm trying to router it. And also I need to find the center so that I can put this block in for my circle jig to attach to. And then we are ready to router. So I'm just using a homemade circle jig that I made for this project. There's a ton of good tutorials online already. I'll put a link to a couple of them in the description below if you want to check them out. Otherwise, I'm using my beautiful homemade one, and I'm just going to attach it to my center here once I get my measurements and work my way around. The first circle you're going to cut is going to be the diameter of your piece minus 1 inch. Your second cut is going to be your rabbet. You can use a rabbet bit for this part if you've got one, which I don't, so I'm just using the same straight bit I used to cut out the rest of the circle. The last cut you're going to make is going to be the diameter of your piece plus 1 inch. This will give you a 1 inch frame. I used a straight bit, but after struggling a little bit to cut my circle, I asked my friend Lizzie over at the House of Timber what she uses, and she said she uses an upcut spiral bit, which I had never heard of before, but they seem to come highly recommended and as a superior bit to a straight bit. They're a little bit more expensive, but probably worth it. I've linked to one below if you want to check it out. So I've got my inner circle cut out and my rabbet routed so that my painting will sit inside my frame. But before I continue, I'm going to put some cardboard or something underneath this so that I don't router into my workbench again. And I advise you do the same. Also, I don't really know how it happened, but I put a giant gouge almost into the front of my frame that I'm going to have to repair later. So there's that. Don't do those things. Not gonna lie, that took quite a bit longer than I expected. I think I did like 8 passes on the outside, and then same with the inside, and then like 5 for the rabbit. Very slow, some very smoky passes. But I think maybe it's because I was just using an old bit that I have. I don't know how sharp it is, so that might be something to consider. Anyway, so now I just need to biscuit joint the seams and sand it and then stain it, and then she's done. And then I have to clean up my mess, which it looks like a dust bomb, a sawdust bomb went off in here. So that should be fun. I'm using a biscuit joiner to strengthen the seams, and just because I think it makes it look a little bit fancier. I'm using number 10 biscuits and wood glue, and then using a hacksaw to trim them. I used a disc sander to smooth out the outside, but you can skip right to an orbital or palm sander depending on what you have. I finished with 120 grit pad on my orbital sander. I finished it off with 2 coats of Provincial Stain by Rabbeting.